Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's your yin yang truth seeker, Donnie. And today on HouseofDonald, I feel the need to talk about Christ and the second coming. Because the new world is here. And believe it or not, some of you individuals watching this video right now are the second coming. The living word, a walking cross, energy in its bliss. So let's talk about Christ consciousness, just in case you can never go with the narrative that you were a born sinner. And I say that because maybe you were conscious enough to still question why were you born in the first place. So let's talk about it right after this intro. Darkness is the natural state of the universe, but we have things that illuminates within it. For an example, the sun, moon, and stars. With that said, mankind works the same way. Mostly darkness with just a few bright minds and souls, whom some may refer to as star seeds. So basically, what is below is similar to which is above, and that is above is similar to which is below. As above, so below. So now we're here, living among men as light workers that fell from the heavens above. And since some say we were sent here to save man from himself, here I am, here to give you the knowledge you need to save yourself. After all, most peoples are other peoples. Their thoughts are normally someone else's opinions. Their lives are a mimicry, and their passions are quotations. So don't think like most peoples, they're lost. Plus, there is a difference between education and knowledge, and yet neither one implies wisdom. Therefore, if you want to obtain wisdom, I'll suggest learning yoga, because it's not just mere breathing and relaxation exercises. In reality, it serves as a gateway to mysticism and occult thinking. And I say this because one of the key principles of quantum physics is that our thoughts determine our reality. So, discard all things that no longer serve the higher purpose for your life and your direction, and it will be replaced with something of greater value, as long as you acknowledge your greater cause. After all, you are a manifestation of a thought, so is everything you have and faced it in life. Therefore, you will only find rest once you realize all the answers are inside you. Nothing comes from outside. You can't be a beggar for anything. So withdraw from within and seek only what you have analyzed in your mind. And if you haven't analyzed it in your mind, then spend more time in meditation. Disconnect to reconnect. And if you don't care to meditate, well, daydreaming is a good way to pay attention to your needs and desires as well, as long as you're not having a pity party or playing the blame game in your mind while you do it. And I say this because most people in society fail to realize all problems are vibrational and frequency problems. Therefore, many often victimize themselves. So I hope you are self-aware enough to know no matter what it looks like, it is your frequency that attracts it. After all, we live in an electromagnetic world. Your world is created by your speech, the subconscious speech to self. So no one can curse you. But what the powers that be can do is rule your life so that you can curse yourself. How do you curse yourself? By being a product of your environment through the popular feeling of oppression. Then a world of chaos is created to confirm that feeling. And that's why childhood trauma is the media's number one form of target abuse. They know it will make one manifest BS about themselves for a lifetime. We create by frequency, always. But unfortunately, many don't know this because they taught us about God and the devil as things to look out for. However, the juice is on vibration and frequency. So if you believe the devil is real, then you had a hand in helping to create him. That's how it works. But if you don't understand what I mean by now, because of your religion or whatever, then you might not be in line with thyself. And I say this because when thoughts, actions, and emotions are not in line, this creates a disoriented energy that keeps a person or species constantly in conflict with the world or those around them, in competition or at war with one another. Only when actions, emotions, and thoughts become fully in line can we become fully capable of seeing ourselves clearly without the ego's illusion. So, do you say what your heart really wants to say? Do you make choices and take actions in life that are in line with your true self? Do you understand thyself? And I ask these questions because we live in the mind, not through the mind. That's why 10% of this matrix is physical and 90% of it is mental. So with that said, if you are a divine soul, understand this. No one will give you anything on this earth. You give yourself what you want. If one is not going to understand this and they are of divine origin, they will live a life of suffering, since many of us have been lied to that there is a man behind the scenes fixing things. And that's why so many divine souls live below their own standards. It's because they think they will be rewarded for their good. That's a lie. What is good anyways if it isn't to your standards? Nobody is coming to save you but you. It was always you. Therefore, no priest or minister can absolve or forgive whatever you humans look at as sins. Sorry to bust your bubble, but you have to forgive yourself. So stop making it complex. This isn't rocket science. Everything begins and ends with you. The world doesn't end until you die. So take responsibility for your livelihood and stop thinking like a child. Because the true source is not our ego, but rather our recognition of being an extension of the Creator, God, the source. This source of self-esteem flows from spirit and is independent of anything of this world. And the first step to accomplish that self-esteem is to take full responsibility for one's state of mind, state of consciousness, and all situations and circumstances in life that results from the universe mirroring our state of consciousness back to us. With that said, one of the aspects of Christ consciousness is the refusal to participate in any dualistic roles created by our ego-driven society. Christ consciousness will never conform to the illusions of this world. Rather or rather not, it will challenge them at any occasion. Anyone who obtains Christ consciousness will not conform to society, social conditioning, and the roles that society, family, or even religion want to impose on peoples. Christ consciousness is not guided by the rules of this world, but by Christ's mind and heart that comes from spirit. So, if you want peace in life, go with your own moral compass besides trying to be friends with the world. Put your happiness first. Practice bliss. And lastly, but most importantly, don't try to correct anything except yourself. That's the only way you can tap into Christ consciousness, which is the only way you can transcend from manhood to godhood. After all, being a god isn't just about saying it because it sounds nice and it decorates the beast's ego. If you are who you think you are, then when you die, you better know I am that I am, because if you don't feel it, then you should know. You're judging yourself and been judging yourself the whole time. After all, you are the living word, energy in its bliss. Your whole life has been you experiencing yourself. Therefore, we must know that we live in the mind. We create as we think. This so-called reality is a manifestation of thoughts, your thoughts, because life is in the eyes of the beholder. So there's no need to search for it. You are. I am. Now experience your awareness, which is your sense of right and wrong, without the mainstream ego, which are social trends and conditioning. You owe nobody nothing. You're not a product of your environment. Your environment is a product of you. Your beautiful art or disaster, even if you don't see it, because you're God. You destroy and rebuild with your own sense of good and bad, because you always knew your mistakes was nothing more but life lessons. Time and death doesn't even apply to you if you are who I think you are. Pure awareness. So if you haven't already, it is now time for you to rise into your true calling. Remember who you really are. Be willing to surrender who you are now for what you could become, which is your higher self. Because the mystery of life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced, since this place is but a dream. Only a sleeper considers it real. Then death come like dawn and you wake up laughing at what you thought was your grief. And since I love you, I'm exposing all of this to you, because love means speaking the truth and not remaining silent, even if you might offend or hurt somebody's feelings. So learn to start living your truth, which is your birthright. And once you obtain that, never surrender that truth for any lie because of circumstances or person. Fight for the truth with every ounce of your being, with all your strength, power, and heart. And with that being said, until we meet again, ThisDonnie signing out.